Welcome back, champions, to the Champion Mindset Collective podcast. This is the place where we ignite your passion, turbocharge your success, and transform your thinking and ignite the champion within you. I'm your host, Anthony Dahya, and today I'm so grateful that you're here listening to this podcast episode. Would love for you to share these podcast episodes with your friends, family, and workmates. And if you haven't already done so, please follow this podcast so that you don't miss any future episodes, and so that we can get this podcast out to the wider community. Today, it's my absolute pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to this podcast episode, Unleashing Your Worth. It's a deep dive into your self-esteem. So here's a question for you. How would you describe yourself in 3 words? And why did you choose these words? It's a great way to reflect on your self-perception, which is a key aspect of your self-esteem. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So find me on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, Anthony Dahya, and drop in a comment and just say, hey, I listened to your podcast and this is what I thought of that question. So most people, if not everyone, will have had some struggle with self-esteem in their lives. And according to a survey done by Dove's Self-Esteem Project, 61% of women and 49% of men in US have low self-esteem. Low self-esteem can affect various aspects of your life, such as relationships, career, health, and happiness. So let's explore what self-esteem is. So what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is how a person thinks and feels about themselves, their qualities that they have, their characteristics in themselves. So how do you think and feel about yourself? What are your thoughts telling you about yourself? What are you feeling about yourself and your emotions? And how are you acting? You see, how you think and feel creates your current reality. I'll say that again. How you think and feel creates your current reality. It's also described as a person having either a high self-esteem or a low self-esteem. And a person who has a positive thoughts about their qualities, their characteristics, would have a high self-esteem. On the other hand, a person who has negative thoughts about their qualities and characteristics would have a low self-esteem. So how does our self-esteem impact us? Well, you see, self-esteem is your subjective sense. It's your overall personal worth and value. We often go through life and we don't value ourselves enough. We don't think we're worthy enough. We don't think our worth is enough in this life. And a lot of that comes from our past experiences, our past programming, our past trauma, and lots of different things that have programmed us to be who we are today. So just as self-respect involves valuing and honoring yourself, self-esteem also encompasses a positive regard on your own worth and value. Self-esteem is like an internal mirror that reflects how much you value yourself and how confident you are in your own capabilities. Now let's explore how self-esteem impacts us. You see, when you have a healthy self-esteem, you believe in your abilities and you recognize your abilities. And it helps us with things like decision-making. So your healthy self-esteem positively impacts your decision-making. When you view yourself positively, you are more likely to make choices that are aligned to your potential and your aspirations. Relationships. Self-esteem also significantly affects your relationships. People with healthy self-esteem tend to maintain better connections with others because they've got a solid foundation of self-acceptance. Emotional health. Your self-esteem will directly influence your emotional well-being. You see, when you value yourself, you are more resilient and to face challenges and setbacks. On the other hand, low self-esteem can lead to feelings of unworthiness and self-doubt. This one's quite an interesting one because I've been through this in my life a number of times where my self-esteem was low, my self-worth was low, and that played out in other parts of my life. So it's important that we maintain a healthy emotional strength and emotional well-being. And then motivation. People with positive self-esteem understand their capabilities and they feel inspired to take on new challenges. They recognize their potential and they're motivated to pursue their growth, to pursue their achievement in life. So what are the 4 key characteristics of healthy self-esteem? Well, number 1 is understanding your skills. Getting a really firm grasp on your abilities, what you're good at, what skills you have, what skills that you can learn or you can make better, right? We are all able to grow and we are all able to learn and polish our skills and strengthen the skills. So doing that, having that understanding really helps. Also, healthy relationships, a positive relationship with ourselves will help us build better relationship with others. Realistic expectations. Having expectations that are appropriate will help us as well. Making sure that the expectations that we have are our own and not set by someone else. And also that they're realistic, that you can actually achieve those things that you're wanting to do. Then expressing your needs. So understanding and effectively expressing your personal needs is really important. So what is self-esteem made of? You see, self-esteem is a triad. There are 3 components of self-esteem. Number 1 is your needs. You must make sure that your needs are met, that you're meeting your needs first and foremost. It's not about other people meeting your needs, it's about yourself meeting your own needs. And emotions is a second one. And it's important that we connect with our emotions. We've been told not to be emotional, not to cry or be in touch with our emotions. That's not right because we often treat our mind and our body as separate. But remember, your mind, your brain is within your body and it is one. It is not separate. We think that our mind and our heart and our body is separate, but it's not. So it's important that you connect when your thoughts come and that you acknowledge those thoughts and you let them pass by, and then you connect with your emotion and really understand what's going on for you. What are you feeling? When you feel, that creates that brain-heart coherence. And it's so powerful because brain is the creative part of it. And the heart is where you've got all this, the biggest amount of energy in your body. And the heart sends a signal to your brain and says, right, start creating. So whatever you're thinking and whatever you're feeling is going to create your reality. So remember, self-esteem isn't about being perfect. It's about accepting and valuing yourself. Everything, flaws and all. So here are some signs of low self-esteem. Being critical about ourselves. Being harsh or negative, judging our own abilities, our appearances, our actions. All of this leads to low self-esteem. It brings about guilt and shame and dissatisfaction. Having a negative outlook on your life is like having a pessimistic or hopeless attitude towards the future, expecting the worst things to happen and focusing on the problems rather than the solutions. And it affects our self-esteem, our mood and our motivation. Feeling unworthy or inadequate. So having low sense of self-worth and self-value, feeling that we're not good enough, feeling like we don't deserve respect or love or happiness, all of this comes from internal or external factors such as negative self-talk, trauma, abuse, rejection. And avoiding these challenges and opportunities, we tend to shy away from situations that require effort, risk, or change, because we're constantly fearing, We're constantly criticizing ourselves or disappointing ourselves. And it can limit our potential growth and learning. Having difficulty accepting compliments and praise. Rejecting or playing down positive feedback from others, feeling uncomfortable, embarrassed, or even doubting our own abilities or achievements. It stems from low self-esteem, insecurity, and perfectionism. Now, I've been there many times in my life where people have given me compliments or people have said, hey, that was really great. And I thought being humble was to just say, it's okay, but not really celebrating it for myself and going, hey, I did a great job, or that person gave me a compliment and I should say thank you. And it wasn't until last year, really, for me, that I started to realize when my mentor and coach said to me in a meeting with some other people that, hey, Anthony, they've just given you a compliment and you've just brushed it off. And that just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, wow, I need to be thankful more. So I encourage you, when people congratulate you or thank you or give you compliments, accept them and say thank you. Being afraid of failure or rejection. So this is a common thing. Having an intense fear or not meeting expectations, making mistakes, or being disliked by or excluded by others. All of this cause anxiety, stress, and avoidance of social professional situations. It happens so much because people are operating purely from that emotional and fear state. And it's important to learn to really understand what's going on for us. What are we feeling? Are we coming from a place of fear? And if we are, then it's important. It's okay. It's our natural protection. It's amygdala kicking in and protecting us. But we are no longer under any threat. So it's important to become your authentic self. Be yourself and see that fear of failure and rejection as just feedback. Because remember, that is coming from a place of past. Maybe someone in your life had said something to you that you're not good enough, or you're constantly making mistakes, or you felt rejected. I've been there so many times in my life. You see, I felt rejected and abandoned at the age of 7 when I got put into a boarding school, an ashram in India, which was crossed between army and prison camp. And I made up the story that I wasn't good enough, no one loved me, no one cared about me. And it's played out in my life over and over and over and over again. And also, I was always seeking validation from others until a year or two ago where I realized that I don't need validation from anyone else. The only validation I need is from myself. And so it's so important that we make sure that we are validating ourselves, that we are checking in with ourselves. And when these things come up, we see them as feedback for us to learn and to move forward in a positive way. Also comparing ourselves to others. So measuring our own worth, our own success based on other people's performance or how they appear. It can lead to envy and resentment and dissatisfaction, and it will undermine your self-esteem and your confidence. You see, we are all on our own journey, and we don't need to compare ourselves to anyone else. You are your unique self, and there is a reason you were created. You were created for a purpose, and you have a unique set of abilities and personality. So be you. Don't be anyone else. Just be you. And don't compare yourself because, for example, I'm on this journey of being an entrepreneur, being a podcaster, being an influencer, being a coach. But I can't compare myself to people like Tony Robbins or Jay Shetty or Lewis Howes or Rob Dial because they are ahead of me. They have been doing this a lot longer than I have. And I'm only at the beginning of my journey. So there's no way that I can compare myself to those people. They're doing great things. And one day I have an aspiration to be beside them on a stage, speaking at an event. But, I'm learning from them rather than comparing myself to them. So I'm looking at modeling them and going, what do they do that I can learn from? But I don't compare myself. So I encourage you not to compare yourself. The only person you want to compare yourself with is yourself yesterday, because you can be 1% better today. And if you're 1% better every day, then at the end of the year, you are 365% better. So the last one is feeling insecure and anxious. See, having lack of confidence or certainty in ourselves or a situation that we're in is going to help make us feel nervous. It's going to make us feel worried or fearful. It can affect our mental and physical health, relationships, and also the performance. Now, when we're feeling anxious, it's in our mind, it's in our emotions, and our body feels it. And have you ever sensed yourself getting tense, your jaw getting tense, your teeth feeling really tight, maybe your shoulder is sore, maybe your back is sore? All of this stuff comes from feeling insecure, feeling anxious, and having low self-esteem. It's important to live in the present moment and not worry about what's going to happen in 5 minutes' time. Live in this present moment and be yourself. So how can we improve or boost our self-esteem? Well, here's some ways that you can. So practicing self-compassion and kindness. Being kind and understanding to yourself, especially when you're facing difficulties or you make mistakes. By treating yourself as you would treat a friend. Acknowledging your strengths and the things that you've accomplished. And forgiving yourselves for anything else. Setting achievable goals and celebrating achievements. Setting realistic and specific goals that challenge you but are within your reach. It also means recognizing and rewarding yourself when you achieve them and learning from your failures. And it's important to seek support from your friends, from a family member, from coaches, from therapists, depending on where you're at. You might just want to talk to a friend or a family member, but then you may want to get some coaching to help you get better. Or if the trauma is so in depth or ingrained, then a therapist is probably a good person to reach out to. Reaching out to people who care about you and offer you emotional and practical and professional help means that being open and honest about your feelings and your needs and accepting their feedback and advice. It's so important that when you go to a friend or a family member or a coach or a therapist, that you go with an open mind and you go with a mind of learning about yourself. Often people go to professionals or even friends and family and they give them some bit of advice or they say something and they start arguing with them. And I don't think that's the right approach, because your limited thinking or the thinking that created the problem cannot solve the problem. So it's important to listen and get feedback from others. Also, leading a healthy lifestyle, taking care of yourself, taking care of your physical health and your well-being, because it affects your mental health and your self-esteem. Exercising regularly, eating a balanced diet, getting enough sleep, avoiding substance abuse. So there's a lot of people, they come home from work and they just drinking. It's okay to have a glass of wine with dinner or something like that, but to drink a whole bottle or drink half a dozen beer or, things like that, or drugs, it's not going to really help you. It's only putting a Band-Aid on the situation. It's only masking the problem, right? So it's important that you lead a healthy lifestyle and you seek support and be compassionate to yourself. And also developing positive self-talk. Now, this is a big one. Like, I've seen this in my life so many times, and I've seen it in other people's lives as well. Changing the way you talk to yourself, especially during difficult moments. It involves replacing negative thoughts with positive thoughts, more accurate thoughts, empowering ones, and using affirmations that are hopeful statements. There's also a thing called the law of assumption, where you are assuming things are happening for you. Because remember, life happens for you, not to you. So when you say these hopeful statements, your confidence and your self-esteem grows. Law of Assumptions by Neville Goddard. Look that up on YouTube. It's amazing. He was a brilliant man, and I've been practicing this myself, and things have been happening in my life for me, and it's amazing. There's a saying, what you think about is what you become. I'll say that again. What you think about is what you become. If you're constantly focusing on something, then you're going to make that happen, because we are creators of our lives. If you're constantly thinking negative thoughts, then you're going to bring about negative consequences or negative situations. If you're always thinking positive, you're being an optimist, then you are likely to create positive situations in your life and things that are going to serve you. It's also important to be mindful and grateful. Pay attention to your present moment without judging it, without criticizing yourself or others. Be aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your sensations in your body, and what are you feeling? Like the air around you may be touching your skin, your nose, your mouth, what are you feeling? And accept them as they are, expressing gratitude for what you have and what you can do, rather than focusing on what you lack or what you can't do. Also using affirmations and visualizing. So this is usually around, as I said before, affirmations are hopeful statements or positive statements that boost your confidence, right? So using these affirmations helps you be more positive in yourself, to put out the positive vibes out there into the universe, and visualizing those. So using positive affirmations and statements that will describe your desired state or outcome. So whatever you want to become, speak that into being. This is a huge topic for me. I've been practicing this for so long. I even use affirmations at night while I sleep that help me reprogram my subconscious mind. And so all of these things from my past that have been dictating the way I live, I'm reprogramming them. I'm updating the software to it. I'm rewriting those narratives. I'm rewriting those stories in my present moment to create new realities and new possibilities. And so it's so important that you use these positive statements to describe your desired outcome and state, and then repeating them to yourself regularly. Do this like 2 or 3 times a day. Or whenever you're feeling anxious, start saying positive affirmations. There are many apps out there. One of the guys I listen to, Bob Baker, has some really good affirmations, and you can just listen along or you can repeat after him. But there are many, many affirmations out there. YouTube has got so many. I encourage you to go and search. If you're feeling a certain way, just type in affirmations for anxiety, and it will come up with a plethora of affirmations for you. If you want healing in your life, type in healing affirmations, and all of these things can guarantee you, if you do this for 21 to 30 days, things will start to happen in your life. It also means imagining yourself achieving your goals or feeling good about yourself. And also using all of your senses, not just your thoughts, not just your eyes, but all of your senses, to visualize and make these vivid and realistic visualizations of yourself. So lastly, avoiding comparisons and perfectionism. So not measuring your self-worth, your success based on how other people perform or appear to you, because how they appear to you is your perception based on your current reality. It involves focusing on your own growth and your own improvement, your own journey. We can't compare ourselves to someone who has been doing something for a lot longer than us, rather than the standards and expectations of others. It also means accepting your flaws and limitations and being proud of your efforts and your achievements. So as I said before about the journey that I'm on, I can't compare myself to the greats because they've been doing this for a lot longer than me. Like Tony Robbins has been doing this for 40 odd years, right? And some of the others have been maybe 10 years or so on. So what I can do is focus on my own skills that I have, focus on my own journey, and keep going. So building and boosting self-esteem is really important for our well-being. And here's some ways that you can enhance it. Firstly, prioritize yourself. Put yourself first. Give yourself permission to put yourself first. Prioritizing your needs is not selfish. It's important. It's necessary. Take care of your physical and emotional well-being. Number 2, be kind to yourself. Replace self-criticism with self-compassion. Treat yourself as you would treat a friend who's in need. Number 3, forgive mistakes. Understand that everyone makes errors. Learn from them, move forward, and don't dwell on them, and don't come from a place of blame. Because when you blame someone, you're actually coming from a below-the-line way of thinking. And, we all have made mistakes, and we should forgive ourselves and we should forgive others. Number 4 is acknowledge success. Celebrate your achievements. So no matter how small or how they are, recognize that it is progress, that it is a brick in building a house. A house is made up of bricks, and each brick is placed one by one. And the compounding effect of doing those things regularly, consistently, builds competence and confidence and motivation and belief in yourself. So when you are celebrating your achievements and you're really backing yourself, it's going to help you with your self-esteem. Number 5, practice gratitude. Now, I really encourage you to do this because practicing gratitude is a great way to start your day. And really what you're doing is you're giving thanks for all of the things that you treasure, all of the things that you're thankful for. And, you could be lying on your bed, or you could be driving, you could be, no matter what are you doing, just giving gratitude about what you are thankful for and what you appreciate in your life is so important. It builds a positive aspect in your life, but it also fosters a positive mindset, and it sets up your day. And when you give gratitude, you are telling the universe or God that you're thankful for what you've got and you're going to get more of. Number 6, move your body. Exercise. Exercising has a really positive impact on your self-esteem. So make sure that you're always, every day, that you're doing some form of exercise, physical activity that you enjoy. Could be walking, could be running, could be whatever you're into. Number 7, be generous. Acts of kindness towards yourself and others boosts your self-esteem. So helping others create a sense of purpose and fulfillment. And it's so important to be generous because the law of reciprocity is that when you give to others, the universe, God, will give back to you. And the more you do that, the more it's going to come back to you. Lastly, getting into team sports. So taking, part in team sports or group activities can really enhance your self-esteem by promoting social connections and a sense of social achievement. Now, I recently, in the last month, joined 2 things. I've actually joined 2 networking groups, and I've also joined Toastmasters. I'm joining Toastmasters. And what I've found is that building those connections with people, with like-minded business owners, is so important because you're in the same boat, but we are all at different stages in our journey, and we can learn so much from each other, and we're there to actually support each other as business owners. And so I've never really experienced the power of being in a network like that with business owners where they are genuinely interested in helping you and genuinely helping your business. So if you are an entrepreneur, a business owner, or if you're just starting this journey, I would recommend that you join a networking group around you, somewhere close to you, and regularly go to that and be part of that and give. The more you give, the more you serve, the more you'll get back. So here's some closing thoughts. Embrace your uniqueness. You are unique. Remember that your worth lies in your individuality. Embrace your quirks, your strengths, your imperfections. They make you beautifully who you are, and they make you human. Also, you are enough. You don't need external validation to be worthy. You are enough just as you are. Believe it, live it, and let it radiate from within you. Journey matters. Self-esteem isn't a destination, it's a journey. Celebrate every step you take forward in self-acceptance and growth. I want to share some inspirational quotes with you that I found while I was researching. There's about 5 or something of them. So here's one. Your value does not decrease based on someone else's inability to see your worth. I'll say that again. Your value does not decrease based on someone else's inability to see your worth. Next one. Self-esteem is the foundation of all success, by Lao Tzu. Self-esteem is the foundation of all success. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop, by Rumi. I'll say that again. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. That is profound. That's amazing. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside of you that is greater than any obstacle, by Christian D. Larson. Say that again. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. And lastly, to love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. Oscar Wilde. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. I hope these quotes have inspired you. Remember, champions, you're worth it. Keep shining, keep growing, and embracing in your own unique journey. And thank you for tuning in to this episode around unleashing your worth. And until next time, that's all I have for today. If you love this episode, please share it on your social media. Tag me in. I'd love to read the comments and interact with the listeners. Click this link in the description to join the Champion Mindset Collective Facebook group. I'm running a 4-week mind mastery challenge. And if you'd like to join that, it's absolutely free. You just click the link, fill in your details, and you'll get information sent to you, login details, and from there you can start your journey. It's a course that I've created to really help you discover who you are, where you are, and where you want to be. And then lastly, don't forget to share this episode with your friends, your family, and your colleagues. Let's spread the word of positivity and empowerment together. Remember, champions, to champion your life and champion your greatness. Thank you and have an amazing day.